Bhusunda continued. By the regular and systematic practice of pranayama, as described by me, I have gained the state of purity, and I am not disturbed, even when the Mount Meru, or the North Pole, is shaken. This state of samadhi, or total equanimity, is not lost whether I am walking or standing, whether I am awake, asleep, or dreaming. With my vision turned upon the self, I rest in the self, with the self in all conditions of life, whatever changes may take place in the world or in the environment. Thus have I lived right from the time of the previous cosmic dissolution. So here we have it for pranayama as a means of realizing the self. Self-realization is about the attention. So if the attention can be explored without getting caught up in notions, if it can be explored directly, then this leads to self-realization. There are many ways of exploring the attention. I've mentioned the exercises of Douglas Harding. You could turn the attention to silence. Listen to silence. That kind of exercise brings the attention closer to itself. When you listen to silence, what are you listening to? You become aware almost of the listening itself. And in the pranayama, Bhusunda describes focusing between the outbreath and the inbreath, between the prana and the apana. And this is a point where no breathing is happening. And it's understandable how that is also like listening to silence. It's bringing to the attention to that point where it hasn't quite got anything to attend to. So it's thrown back on itself. So although I've been rather wary of this thread in the Yoga Vasishta, it's not for me to dismiss pranayama as a practice. It just seems to me that it involves a great deal of study, practice and concomitant activities, and it's very easy to get lost in it. That's my reservation about it, but it's not my intention to dismiss it. Although one wonders about the longevity which results from it. In previous stories we usually hear that once realization is achieved and immersed in, then the enlightened one goes about their normal life until that point where they physically leave the body. But here we have the opposite effect. Bhusunda is able to live through the cosmic dissolution. On a spiritual level, this means that aspects of the ego have not been overcome. But in the following description, it certainly seems as if he's got there. Although I should also point out that his description of equanimity is too much like a rock, whereas I think real equanimity is about a balance, which no matter how much it's knocked, it continuously comes back to itself. And this idea of equanimity as some kind of imperturbable rock is really one which belongs to one of the notions of traditional yoga. I'm not sure that it really reflects liberation through self-inquiry. I do not contemplate either the past or the future. My attention is constantly directed to the present. I do what has to be done in the present without thinking of the results, without considerations of being or non-being, desirable and undesirable. I remain in the self. Hence I am happy, healthy and free from illness. My state is the fruit of contemplation of the moment of union of the prana and the apana, when the self is revealed. I do not entertain vain notions like I have obtained this, and I shall gain that too. I do not praise, nor do I censure anyone, neither myself nor others, or anything at any time. My mind does not exult on gaining what is considered good, nor does it become depressed on obtaining what is considered evil, hence my state of happiness and health. I embrace the supreme renunciation, having renounced even the desire to live, which is quite surprising given his longevity. Thus my mind does not entertain cravings, but is peaceful and balanced. I behold the one common substratum in all things. A piece of wood, a beautiful woman, a mountain, a blade of grass, ice and fire and space. And I am not worried by thoughts like, what shall I do now, or what shall I get tomorrow morning? I am not bothered by thoughts of old age and death, or by longing for happiness, nor do I regard some as mine, and others as not mine. I know that everything at all times everywhere is but the one cosmic consciousness. These are the secrets of my state of happiness and health. I do not think I am the body, even while engaged in physical activity, as I know this world appears to be illusory, and live in it as if fast asleep. I am disturbed neither by prosperity nor by adversity when they are granted to me, as I regard them with equal vision, even as I look upon both my arms as arms. I like this analogy. We don't have a favourite arm, do we? You don't think, well, I think I'm going to use this arm today because it's my favourite one. Or I'll get a special colour for my jacket for this arm, and a different colour for this arm. And this is how we see everything. We could see everything as our limbs, and we don't have any preference for one limb over another. Whatever I do is untainted by desire or the mud of ego sense. Thus I do not lose my head when I am powerful, or go begging when I am poor. I'm not sure what the problem here is with going begging. It's quite possible you might need to go begging depending on your circumstances. And it's common enough in Indian spiritual traditions for spiritual aspirants to go begging. I do not let hopes and expectations touch me, and even when a thing is old and worn out, I look upon it with fresh eyes as if it were new. I rejoice with the happy ones and share the grief of the grief-stricken, for I am the friend of all, knowing I belong to none and none belongs to me. I know that I am the world, all the activities in it and its intelligence. This is the secret of my longevity.